I had a thought about something that happened earlier at work this week. For a bit of context, the hierarchy of roles at my work goes like this. There's an engineering manager for a building, and then there's our technical lead. The technical lead and the engineering manager are often at odds with how they see things. For example, one issue we've been having recently with our parts is that they've been coming back from NDT inspection with noticeable cracks. This is a new issue. The technical lead was convinced it's because the engineering manager decided to remove a bake operation prior to welding. His hypothesis was that removing the bake operation was allowing moisture to remain in the part during welding. The NDT person checked previous lots. Those lots were a mix of baked and non-baked parts. Every single non-baked lot contained failing parts, and on the other hand, every baked lot passed inspection. At the end of the day, the engineering manager came over to me and said something that stuck with me. He said, "So everyone can just blame me. You guys need someone to blame. I'm the guy that took out the bake. It's all my fault." When he said this, it wasn't really in a mean tone. He didn't seem upset or hurt, but the fact that he was saying it at all really stuck with me. That's what got me thinking about responsibility. One of the things most frequently discussed in leadership is the idea of taking responsibility. We are often told that the best thing a leader can do is take responsibility for the outcomes of their team. I believe that's what the engineering manager thought he was doing by saying those things. However, I don't actually see it that way. To me, the specific language he used showed that he didn't really want to take responsibility. Or perhaps he didn't fully understand what responsibility meant in a leadership context. There was another example of responsibility earlier this week. We have a big workshop coming up at work, and I'm actually one of the leaders on one of those teams. To prepare for this workshop, I had to put together a presentation that I'll be presenting in front of nearly half of our entire site. Before the workshop, all the team leaders were advised to do a rehearsal with one of our higher ups at the site, and his job was to review our presentations, make sure everything sounded good, and then give us the go ahead. Going into this rehearsal, I was extremely confident. I genuinely thought I had the best presentation. My coworkers were commenting on it, saying things like, "Oh my god, yours looks so good." But the reality is very different. When I finally got to the rehearsal, the higher up reviewing the presentations absolutely tore mine apart. In that moment, I felt incredibly tense. I felt like I had put my best foot forward, and I felt like he was criticizing me as a person rather than the presentation. When I walked out of the room, my head was hanging low. I went back to my desk and I just sat there for a minute. But then something struck me. There was still work to be done. And instead of sitting there and sulking, I could start making the changes he suggested, and so I got to work. Looking back on it, I realized something important about responsibility. Taking responsibility doesn't just mean admitting that you were wrong. It doesn't mean saying it as loudly as possible. It doesn't mean accepting blame. Taking responsibility means understanding that the job isn't finished until you've made it right. That's the difference. That's why the comment from the engineering manager struck such a chord with me. A good leader is not someone who takes responsibility by announcing that they were wrong. A good leader is someone who takes responsibility by ensuring that the outcome is ultimately the right one. Because responsibility isn't about owning the mistake, responsibility is about owning the solution. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.